No, look, there's I always say I respect Terence Crawford. He's a very talented
Yeah.
fighter, but he just win uh, one big fight. If you see his record, he just beat one good fighter like Errol Spence is.
Yes.
But other than that, I don't think he's beating other great fighter like Spence. He did a really good job with the Spence. He did like almost look very easy.
But I'm gonna go with Canelo because he didn't hold Turkey's hand.
It's two things that you can do with somebody bigger and stronger. You know, you can either try to push them back, you know, because 9 times out of 10, a strong fighter not used to going.
Canelo Alvarez responded to Terence Crawford's knockouts with genuine respect, praising his skills and admitting that Crawford made his win over Errol Spence look almost effortless. Still, Canelo couldn't help but add a pointed reminder. Outside of Spence, Crawford hasn't faced many big names. To him, that leaves questions hanging over Crawford's resume. But Canelo kept it simple when looking ahead. The truth will be revealed when they finally step into the ring. And with that, he left fans even more eager to see what happens next.
Are you tired of people asking you about Terence yet?
No, look, there's I always say I respect Terence Crawford. He's a very talented fighter, but he just win one big fight. If you see his record, he just beat one good fighter like Errol Spence is.
Yes.
But other than that, I don't think he's beating other great fighter like Spence. He did a really good job with the Spence. He did like almost look very easy. But I knew Terence Crawford is a great fighter. But you never know in boxing. We'll see.
Canelo hints that he already has Crawford's style figured out, speaking with the calm confidence of a man who's done his homework. And then, with a sly smile, he adds a personal twist, pointing out that Turkey Alalshik, who will be in Crawford's corner, is going to walk away very disappointed on fight night. It's a subtle jab, but it makes the clash feel even more charged, not just as a battle of fighters, but as something personal.
You're going to be able to do about it come fight night.
I know Turkey is in your corner,
I promise you.
but look, it's going to be very difficult. He's going to be so mad that day. Believe me.
I see you. I see you. You see I'm different.
I see you too.
Canelo's decision to bring in Jaron boots Ennis for sparring is being seen as a very smart move. Analyst Johnny Ortiz explains that Ennis is the closest match to Terence Crawford's body type and fighting style, making him the perfect training partner. This gives Canelo the chance to study Crawford's rhythm, movement, and physical advantages in real time while sharpening his own timing and defense. At the same time, Ennis gains priceless experience by working with a veteran like Canelo, which adds to his own development. Ortiz sees this as a rare situation where both fighters benefit, making the setup highly strategic.
It makes sense, and it's definitely a good experience for both. Eddie Reynoso and Canelo, shout out to them because now it shows that they serious with a real game plan, and Boots is, to me, everybody's a perfect opponent, I wouldn't say opponent, perfect sparring partner to have to replicate Crawford because they both switch hitters and stuff like that, and they got dog in them and reflexes for sure. So it shows Canelo serious, and on Boots end, to be able to spar a Hall of Famer, top tier guy is giving him great experience, and you can tell he really wants it. It's a sport where Boots is getting an opportunity to spar a Hall of Famer. Who cares? In reality, what the fuck loyalty does Boots owe to Crawford when it comes to the sport of boxing? I mean, Crawford didn't do shit even back while Boots was trying to get his opportunity when it was Spence and Crawford. Every time Boots' name got mentioned, you heard the Bud Clowns be like, oh yeah, he don't deserve it. Oh, who did he fight? Oh, who this and that, man. I ain't trying to hear that shit. It's like different shit that you need to be woke up outside of boxing. Boxing is a sport. There's shit that we need to really come together. I didn't see y'all come together like 5 years. The Bud Clowns, because it's real fans, the Bud Clowns is bashing PBC. everything Boots when you bring up Boots' name, putting him down, I didn't hear like, oh yeah, instead of fighting Canelo or fighting this person, he should fight Boots.
Jose Benavidez highlights just how valuable Canelo Alvarez's choice is in bringing in Jaron, Boots, Ennis as a sparring partner. He explains that Ennis mirrors Crawford in several key ways, from physique to movement to style. Having someone with those attributes in training camp allows Canelo to mentally prepare for exactly the kind of fighter he'll face on fight night. Benavidez also points out that Crawford's smaller size compared to Canelo could play a big role once they step into the ring. In his view, working with a strong, stylistically similar partner doesn't just sharpen Canelo's skills, it boosts his confidence, making him feel like he already holds the advantage before the opening bell even rings.
To give Canelo maybe a little bit more confidence that he is sparring somebody really good. Ennis is a really good fighter, and I think that would be a good motivation, for Canelo Alvarez. I just think that Crawford is too small for Canelo. I think Canelo's too big for Crawford. But in my opinion, I think if Crawford could maybe just tap, hook, get out, maybe once in a while throw a straight punch and just win by points and use his legs, I think I see him winning by decision. But if he tries to exchange with Canelo Alvarez, I think he's going to make a mistake and he's going to get hit with one shot and maybe he can get hurt and that would change the whole fight, But I think he's faster. Crawford is faster and a straight punch, get out, Don't stay there to throw or try to trade with Canelo Alvarez.
Okay. Fair to say. Fair to say. Now, do you feel like when it comes down to the demeanor of making that decision of bringing it in, does it show that he's taking this camp perhaps a little bit more serious than others? I mean, what do you think about just the move per se?
It's very difficult to say. He's never brought anybody really good to his camp until this time. Maybe he's lacking enough confidence, or maybe he just wants to use them to trick the people, or, it's very awkward and very funny that he brought Ennis to his camp, So, but at the end of the day, they know what they're doing, and we got to respect that. And I think
the global demand for boxing has entered a new era, one where streaming services are rewriting records for live events. When Netflix streamed Jake Paul versus Mike Tyson, it drew an astonishing 65 million viewers, the largest audience ever for a fight. That night proved the appetite for combat sports is far greater than anyone imagined. Now, the upcoming clash between Canelo Alvarez and Terence Crawford carries the weight of possibly surpassing even that number. This isn't just about two fighters meeting in the ring. It's about history unfolding on a worldwide stage. Across continents, fans are waiting to see if this showdown can create even more energy, excitement, and engagement than the Jake versus Mike spectacle.
Like Jake Paul, Mike Tyson, which was obviously on Netflix as well, the biggest concurrent view was, I think, 65 million. So at one stage of a time, 65 million people were watching that fight, which is crazy, hence why it broke Netflix servers. I do wonder what this does. I think it does around 10 to 15, which is still an incredible number. The problem with these two, and I was saying this morning actually to Gareth A. Davis, like, there's no antagonizer here, is there? No one is willing to play the role of the bad guy, the heel, the bully. And you almost need that a little bit. Like Jake Paul was actually quite smart in the way in which he promoted the Tyson fight. Obviously, look, it's Mike Tyson. But it was promoted so well where Jake was willing to be the guy that, I'm going to fuck up the greatest fighter of all time. He was willing to kind of say all those things and play that role. So people almost tuned in to see him get chinned as well. Neither of these guys are playing that role. Neither of these guys, I don't think, have crossed over massively to non-boxing fans. I mean, to us, they're like gods. But to non-boxing fans, I do wonder how much people know them.
Terence Crawford has never been the kind of fighter to shy away from a challenge, and his preparation for Canelo proves just how calculated his approach really is. He knows the dangers of facing bigger opponents, but he believes there are clear solutions. His first answer? Force them backward. Larger fighters rarely like being pushed in reverse because they're so used to controlling the pace by coming forward with their size and strength.
It's two things that you can do with somebody bigger and stronger. You know, you can either try to push them back, you know, because 9 times out of 10, a strong fighter not used to going back, you know, so it kind of fucks them up in the head, you know.
Yeah.
Or you can just box them because some of them just slower than others because they got flat feet, and they just looking to load up on certain shots.
Now, Crawford's definitely right here. There's 2 ways to beat a pressure fighter like Canelo. Either you put the pressure back on him, which is where guys like Triple G and Bivol had success, or you use your superior skills and footwork on the outside, which is how Floyd Mayweather won. Now, Crawford, he can't use the pressure approach because he's not as physically dominant as guys like Golovkin or Bivol. You know, Bud is a welterweight or junior middleweight jumping up. He doesn't have the size to push Canelo back. Now, the outside boxing approach, that is definitely Crawford's best chance against Canelo.
Forcing them back breaks their rhythm. His second strategy is to drain their stamina and take advantage of the flat-footedness that often plagues naturally heavier fighters. Crawford's grasp of these tactics highlights just how sharp his boxing IQ really is. He understands that winning isn't just about being tough. It's about turning every disadvantage into an edge. His entire training camp has been built around these ideas, sharpening both his conditioning and tactical precision for the greatest test of his career.
Canelo does struggle to cut off the ring at times. We saw that in the Skull fight. And he does load up on single shots now. But at the same time, Crawford is not the same pure boxer that Floyd Mayweather was. You know, Mayweather rarely got hit in that shell. And his form of countering, you know, a pull counter, for example, was, I'm not going to get touched and then I'll make you pay. Whereas Crawford's style of counterpunching is different. Bud will take one to throw 2 or 3 back, and he can't do that against Canelo because of the size and power difference. If Bud takes a clean right hand to throw back an uppercut or a hook, he's either going to get dropped or he's going to end up on his bike like Jermell Charlo. So while I do agree Crawford does have the superior skill set in this fight, but because he doesn't have the size to push Canelo back, or the defense of someone like Mayweather stay perfect for 12 rounds on the outside, I do think Canelo's size and power will make the difference in this fight. And that's why I like Canelo to win.
While much of the buildup has centered on rivalry, Terence Crawford has consistently expressed admiration for Canelo Alvarez's place in boxing history. He openly acknowledges Canelo as one of the last true representatives of a golden era. Canelo stood across the ring from legends, fought them, and shared the spotlight in moments that defined the sport. Crawford understands how rare that is. For him, this fight isn't only about belts or records. It's about measuring himself against a man who has carried boxing's torch of greatness. By framing it this way, Crawford gives the storyline a depth that goes beyond competition.
Well, listen, I called Canelo out because, like I said, he the last great fighter amongst the era that surpassed us. You know, the Floyd, the Pacquiao, the De La Hoya. We both came up in that era. And he was right there with those fighters, and he got the chance to fight the Miguel Cottos, the Floyd Mayweathers, and, you know, the Kovalevs and Triple Gs, and I wasn't able to get those mega fights, you know, so this is my mega fight, this is my moment, and that's the reason why I want to fight an all-time great like Canelo.
Sean Porter offers a contrasting perspective, suggesting that Canelo will not bring anything Crawford hasn't already faced. In Porter's eyes, Crawford's career has been defined by adaptability, taking on speedsters, punchers, counterpunchers, and naturally bigger men, and finding ways to overcome them all. That ability to adjust on the fly is what makes him truly special. Porter's view underscores a belief that Crawford's versatility is enough to neutralize whatever Canelo presents, even with the Mexican star's size and power. For fans, this insight adds balance to the ongoing debate.
Get in the ring with Canelo Alvarez. Terence is not going to see anything that he hasn't seen before. No, he hasn't seen this beast on fight night, but he's seen versions of this beast for a very, very, very long time. People have said that he's a blown-up 147-pound fighter. If you remember, he said it was hard for him to make 147 when he fought Errol Spence Jr. I was like, yo, how is that possible? I didn't realize, like, he was really doing everything that's needed to gain the weight properly. Most fighters don't know how to gain weight and fit into a weight class properly. He's done that.
Antonio Tarver frames the fight through the lens of danger, reminding everyone that Canelo Alvarez only needs one clean punch to flip the script entirely. Crawford may be sharper, faster, or more technically gifted, but Alvarez's power acts as the ultimate equalizer. Tarver's experience in the sport shows that a single misstep against a puncher like Canelo can end everything in an instant. His warning is clear. No matter how brilliant Crawford is, perfection must be maintained every second of every round.
And Canelo only need one punch. You know what I mean? That really, basically, that's what it boils down to. I think Canelo only need one shot to change the game or change the fight. Crawford gonna have to stay consistent and win out. Gonna have to get ahead and stay ahead. You know what I mean? And then also looming is the controversy. Can Crawford win a close decision? I could never win a close decision. I never won a close decision. That's what's looming. I think if Crawford is gonna guarantee victory, he gotta stop him.
A man who ain't been stopped.
He gotta stop him, bro.
It's challenge.
So that's gonna be the challenge. So I like Bud. I've always loved Bud, bro. But he in for a hell of a fight. If Saul show up, it's gonna be problems. You heard me?
Andre Rozier underscores the importance of Canelo's choice to spar with Jaron Ennis, showing just how committed he is to preparing every detail. Bringing in a fighter of that caliber reflects real respect for Crawford's skills. Canelo isn't taking this lightly. He's surrounding himself with sparring partners who can test him in ways that mirror what he'll face in the ring. For Rozier, this approach explains why Canelo has stayed a champion for so long. His willingness to adapt, push himself, and refine his craft in training sets him apart. That seriousness assures fans that when fight night comes, both men will bring the absolute best version of themselves, leaving nothing to chance.